Zool 2 was released on the Atari Jaguar at the end of 1994 and is a direct sequel to the original title, Zool, Ninja of the Nth Dimension. While the first title was released on most home consoles of the era, Zool 2's only console port was on the Atari Jaguar. I never played either of the Zool titles when they were new in the 90s, so I have no nostalgia for this game at all. Zool 2 is a fairly standard 2D platformer where you play as Zool or his female counterpart Zeus, making your way through 6 distinct worlds to defeat the evil mental block and save the Nth Dimension. First, I'll cover the positive aspects of this title. The music is outstanding, well composed, and sounds crisp and clear. Each track does a great job of making each world feel unique. I especially enjoyed the track used in Tutankhamun, which starts off as a cliché Egyptian-style sound before morphing into a more mature action track. The graphics themselves are good, but a bit underwhelming compared to the better titles on the Jaguar. Everything is bright and crisp, but you can definitely see its aging Amiga roots showing through. Even worse, the game actually has slowdown, despite the fact that nothing especially spectacular is ever happening on the screen. So, with the excellent sound and acceptable graphics out of the way, come my issues with this title. If you've listened to the podcast at all, you know that I'm not a fan of Zool 2. If you haven't noticed from the footage, you spend a majority of the game bouncing around like an idiot. Some of this is intentional, as you are practically required to do it. Part of it is not intentional, because the jump button is also mapped to the up button on the D-pad. While this may be appropriate on a computer keyboard, it's annoying when playing with a controller. The Jaguar's mushy D-pad compounds the problem. Getting back to what I was saying, you are pretty much required to jump and use your spin attack to not die in this game. There are enemies constantly hounding you at every angle, and they all respawn relatively quickly. You can't spin when you're on the ground, so you must constantly jump to avoid the bombardment. While this in itself isn't the worst thing ever, it's incompatible with the style of game presented. There are enemies that you can't jump on, or you will take a hit. You have to stop jumping and shoot them. But because you aren't jumping, something else is sure to fly into you. The entire game is filled with mechanical flaws like this. The controls range from being far too sensitive to just not functional at all. You'll often find yourself stuck on a pillar with a saw coming at you, but you can't jump off, you're just stuck. You have to use the up button along with the left or right to get off the damn pillar. The jump button simply doesn't work. Now, there are items that are supposed to help you throughout your journey. The first is a peace symbol, which places a second flickering ninja on the screen. It's mostly useless. You can also collect up to 3 bombs, which kill everything on the screen. There is a ring power-up that makes your shot more powerful, but since everything dies in one shot anyway, it seems useless. You can go through the secret pathways in the walls easier, however. There are also time bonuses that give you more time, a shield that makes you invincible for a few moments, extra lives, a Chupa Chup that restores your full health. Also hidden in each stage is a Zoon. If you collect 3 Zoons, you get to go to a special breakout bonus game to get additional points and an occasional bonus life. But getting back to the core gameplay of Zool 2, to progress through the level, you are required to collect 99% of the items in the stage before you can actually progress. Because of the design of the levels, you can actually dick yourself pretty bad if you aren't conscious of your item count as you move along. You can make it to the end of the level only to be short of items, and you can only backtrack so far, pretty much ruining your playthrough. Bullberry Hill has tubes that you can't backtrack through. Occasionally you'll accidentally go through one without collecting the necessary items in the section of the level, and you'll be stuck at the end of the level without any items to collect. There are some brief moments of genuine creativity to be found, and I especially enjoyed the hidden blocks in Tutankhamun, which unlocks new areas of the map and are required to discover large chunks of items. Stopping to shoot the block, however, exposes you to enemies, and the game goes back to being frustrating. I consider myself fairly competent at games, especially platformers, but I can't make it past the second level of the fourth world. That means there are still 4 more levels of this game that I'll probably never see. The snake riding sections of Snaking Pass are nearly impossible, and that's about where my patience ends. So there you have it, an average platformer riddled with flaws. This game could have been good with some gameplay tweaks, but what we're presented with is an incredibly cheap, frustrating game without enough positive attributes to warrant progression. Hardcore platform fans may find some enjoyment here, but for everyone else, don't bother.